Do you?
Yeah, bringing 20 cases up to college.
This kid doesn't drink any water.
No.
No water.
I fuck with those. The core powers.
Yeah.
So he got them because of the CrossFit Games. And Tristan's actually an expert networker. You maybe don't believe it.
Okay.
But he's an expert in the game.
Fair
and
enough.
he got himself a bunch of free shit.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
that's what's up.
I'm cool like that sometimes.
And normally
Proud of you.
he'd buy like 2 of those a day. So he's spending $6 a day on milk.
Yeah, that shit is expensive.
It's so expensive.
Like $10.
Is it really?
Well, the other ones, yeah, because the other ones are like $8.
Yeah.
So I get the 42.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
I
Got it.
go with the 26 normally. It's 26, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's different kinds?
Yeah, there's a 26 and a 42.
What is that one? The 26? Yeah.
I get the 42.
Loser, dude. You got to have 42 grams of protein at least. You're a guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Pod Counterculture. We are here today with Olivia. What's your last name?
Van Guyse.
Van Guyse.
It's Belgian.
Cool.
I know.
Sweet, dude. So I met Olivia. What should I call you? Olivia or Liv? Does it matter?
Honestly, it doesn't matter. No, I usually introduce as Olivia, but it
Okay.
ends up turning into Liv.
Got it.
So I feel like you deserve Liv. That works.
Perfect. Because we're friends now.
Yeah,
We've
we're
gotten to know
friends.
each other. Mm-hmm. I met Liv because of Kelly from the last pod and Drew from Onward. Go check out Onward, MKE, best physical therapy place on earth. But yeah, so that's basically how we met. And she's got a pretty cool story. At least I thought it was pretty cool. And we want to talk about it today. But first, we're going to give you a wild chip to try on camera.
Oh, I would love a wild chip.
All right,
I also
Tristan.
need to preface that I spilled on myself,
Go give it to
and
her.
the shirt wasn't dirty at first.
I don't even think that they can tell. Where'd you spill?
It's like right down the middle. It's
I can tell.
Slightly
Never mind.
orange. You can't tell. Okay, what flavor is this?
All right, this is chicken and waffle.
Oh.
What do you think?
Oh.
What does it taste like? Chicken falafel?
I actually fuck with those. Those are good.
You like it?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
syrupy right away, but a little savory.
Give her another one.
I could do another one, yeah. What are the macros?
They suck. So much sugar in it.
Actually?
No, 1 gram.
Oh.
No, 1 gram of sugar. The macros aren't like super friendly for like, I don't know what your like allotment is for. Do you count your macros?
Like,
Loosely?
Yeah, on and off, but like loosely right now.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it's like 12 grams of fat, like 2 grams of carb, and 10 grams of protein per serving. Is that what?
Fat, 20 grams cholesterol, 210 grams of sodium.
What's the fat carb
I don't care
protein?
about sodium.
Yeah.
Oh, carbs, 9 grams. Protein 10.
Fair. Yeah.
It's not bad. What are the calories?
170.
That's decent.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
But there's 4 servings in that bag, right?
This one has 2.
Oh, that one's 2?
Okay.
The black box is one has 2.
Oh, okay.
That's not bad. I'm going to go this way.
no.
This
I
is
guess
more
I'm
comfy.
wrong. Yeah. I want to go that way, but I don't know if I. Yeah, I feel like that's all right. So, Liv,
Good.
tell me about yourself. Where'd you go to school? How was your life growing up? Give me
Yeah.
everything. Give me the deets.
So, I was born on November 26th. No, just kidding. Yeah,
1996.
so I'm originally from, or grew up for the most part in Wisconsin, Kenosha. Went to Madison for college, got my bachelor's in kinesiology, exercise movement science. Took a gap year, before physical therapy school, best decision I ever made. I worked as a personal trainer.
Before you went to school, you said?
What was that?
Did you say before you went to school?
No, this is in my gap year. So between undergrad at Madison,
Okay.
and my DPT.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I worked that 1 year. In between then, I worked as a personal trainer, got my nutrition coaching certification, loved that, wanted to continue coaching somehow. When I started physical therapy school, which I go to Rosalind Franklin, which is in North Chicago. It's like a small health sciences school. I And then I wanted to continue coaching, so I just kind of started taking some clients online. I have a little social media presence, so I've been kind of building that up a bit. I get most of my clients through there. And yeah, now I'm an online coach, and I graduate from PT school in November.
A little bit of an online presence. She's clouded up. At least on
Slightly
TikTok.
Clouded.
TikTok,
Yeah. TikTok's my main jam. But it's interesting. I feel like TikTok is where I get, the clout, the influencer-y stuff going on. But then Instagram, which is way smaller for me, is where most of my business happens. Most people will message me on there, inquire about coaching on there. So I think both are kind of equally as important.
I think what's really interesting too with the Instagram thing and YouTube, to be honest, because I have a very small YouTube presence and a small Instagram presence at the moment, but like the ability to get business from those is like super easy if you do it right.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you when you're doing Instagram, how do you kind of get clients through Instagram? Where do they come from? Do you have a funnel, or are you doing call to actions on your stories or below in your descriptions and stuff?
Yeah, so it kind of depends on the season and how many clients I have. I cap myself at a certain amount of clients just because I can only work a certain amount of hours because I'm doing my clinical rotation at Onward. So basically, I'm there full time. I'm there when they're there.
Yeah.
5 days a week. So what was the question?
You're good. How do you curate clients? How do you
funnel.
get clients? Yeah.
That's right. So I have a coaching application that's through Typeform. It's linked on my Instagram and my TikTok through my link tree. So a lot of people will just kind of fill it out. I'll get that via email, and then I'll reach out to them and set up a call.
Sweet.
At times where I feel like I want more clients, or if no one is really filling out my application, then I'll do some more call to actions on my story. I'll post client progress, or I'll post just kind of information as a regular post. And then typically, luckily, people will kind of fill out the application that way.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I used to be a little more hardcore about it and try to get, outbound leads, and I would kind of reply to people or message people who were replying to my stories or asking me questions and try to maybe get them on a call that way. But I kind of haven't done that in a while lately.
Sometimes that feels weird, right?
It feels fake. I hate it. I had a couple years ago, I hired a business mentor to kind of help me out with this whole process. And I liked him. He helped me a ton, but he was also very salesy. And I just don't love I like sales, but I don't love being salesy, and I don't like feeling fake. You're struggling. Let me take advantage of this emotional point for you and let me take your money. I don't like that. I like it to be more organic. I understand it can't always be that way, and you do need to put yourself out there. But yeah, I feel uncomfortable. I don't love doing that.
I feel like I
don't know how you feel.
No. I feel the same way. There's especially in the beginning, there's definitely a point where you have to be that salesperson, right? You're just chasing down leads, cultivating them, curating them, stuff like that. But definitely as you kind of grow your clientele, your book of business, it does feel off to just kind of do that shark in the water thing where you're going after a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. And I think the social media influencers that are super hardcore about it, and you're a fucking loser if you're not DMing 100 people a day.
Yeah.
I think that's super cheesy too. I'm just dude, we get it. You really just want to make money, but there are people in the world that just do genuinely want to help too.
Yeah.
And I think that money should always be the byproduct of wanting to genuinely help somebody with whatever your passion is, right? So
yeah, and that's the main thing. I feel like it's very transparent if all you want to do is make a sale and not actually help. So I kind of always try to reflect and come back to what can I do to help out this person? And especially with my social media as well, I never want that to get super salesy. Or again, if I message 100 people who are following me, then that's 100 people who know that I'm just trying to, shark at people for sales, and I don't want that either. I do love and enjoy giving out free information and free advice. And if that turns into someone wanting further one-on-one coaching, then that's great. But if all they get is that free advice, and that's fine too.
Yeah, and the chances of like 100 people, all those 100 people at least knowing like 5 of the other people that you reach out to are super high too, right?
Exactly.
And there's no way that you can like message 100 people a day and it not be like a curated message that just suits everybody, right?
Yeah.
So then they're gonna be like, oh, Liv or Justin sent me the same exact message that they sent you, and it just feels weird.
Yeah,
But
no, 100%, just like a copy paste, and I don't love it, but I get it is necessary for some people, especially if you don't have like a larger presence. If you're starting out with like a couple hundred followers, like maybe you do need to reach out. And again, but I think it can start with kind of networking, having that conversation, and then you might not even have to kind of ask them to get on a call with you. Sometimes it'll just kind of happen naturally if you're a little bit more patient and just start building that relationship.
Yeah.
Like, I have some clients who are like, hey, we messaged or we chatted 2 years ago and now I'm ready for one-on-one coaching. And I'm like, yeah, perfect. Let's get on a call. Like, it doesn't need to be, you don't need to attack them right away. Like, they'll continue to follow. And then when they're ready, which is kind of what you want, you don't want to coach someone who doesn't really want coaching, because that's happened where I've like closed a sale and felt good about closing that sale. And then it was hard to coach them.
They're the
They
worst
really
to coach. Yeah, exactly. Because like the person has to genuinely want some sort of change. If they don't want it, they're not going to stick to it like totally. They're going to be a pain in the ass to get on calls for like check-ins and stuff like that, for sure.
100%.
I have definitely dealt with those type of clients and in-person clients like that too. What's like your main demographic? Who do you like to work with? Yeah,
so I'm kind of niched down to busy young professionals, primarily women. They're usually beginners or moderate in fitness and working out. I have a few people who are advanced, and that's so fun to like write their programs because I can base it off percentages and stuff. But a lot of them, like go to Planet Fitness, and we're using the Smith machine and dumbbells and stuff like that. So kind of what I hone in on.
So when this podcast gets 100,000 views, at least 500 of you go to Liv and give her your business.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's take it back a little bit though. You went to college right away for kinesiology?
Yeah, so right after high school.
So were you like in sports, or what was the interest in kines?
Yeah, so it's kind of all over the place. I played soccer growing up, tore both my ACLs in high school. That was fun.
Yikes.
That's where I was like introduced to physical therapy.
Yep.
But at that time, I didn't like want to do that as a career because I went to a basic, outpatient athletical clinic, and it didn't seem like a super fun working environment, or at least no hate to athletico, but at least at that location.
Yeah.
And I wasn't into that, but I knew I wanted to do healthcare. I liked science, but I also liked business. So I was really kind of torn between business and doing something in the medical field.
For sure.
I also didn't want to do like pharmacy or even just MD because number one, I didn't want to go to school
forever
that long.
Yeah.
And number two, I didn't want to just pop pills, make people pop pills, I should say.
You want to pop pills, but you don't want other people to.
Yeah. Off the record, no. But yeah, I loved just kind of holistic healthcare. And then as I was in school, I shadowed a couple other PT clinics, and I was like, okay, wait, I actually like this, and got into that kinesiology, exercise, science route, and just kind of stuck with that, and was like pre-PT, like planning to go to PT school as well, and that was that.
So were you, in high school, were you a high level like soccer player?
Not, like I wasn't going to go D1 or anything like that. I was like, I would consider myself average. Like,
how old were you when you blew out your ACLs?
16 for the first one, 18 for the second one.
What was that like?
Sucked. Even though I was like pretty mediocre at soccer, it was still like my whole life because I played all year round. I did high school, I played club, and yeah, I just felt like, especially after I tore my first one, I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, obviously besides rehabbing, and then pretty much as soon as I came back, a few months into my club season where I joined a new club, and it was like a lot better club than the one I was playing at before. I was playing for Racine United. Okay. And these girls were like, I was the worst one on the team. And these girls were so good, but I got so much better playing with them. And, a few months in when I felt like I was like peaking, I tore my other one.
No way.
And yeah, it destroyed me. But yeah, it kind of sucked, but again, I feel like I wouldn't have gotten into lifting either and just exercising because the girls soccer team, we didn't go to the weight room.
Yeah.
Like, not that we weren't allowed, but it wasn't even encouraged or kind of a thought. It's like, oh, you run and you can do like some bodyweight lunges, but knowing what I know now about prehab and how many girls soccer players tear their ACLs, like,
It's the highest sport, right, for females?
yeah, for females, yeah. And, I could have been doing so many other strengthening things to kind of supplement. And that's also another thing that, I was like, I really want to help young athletes, women in particular, kind of prevent this or rehab better and, like, break stigmas about girls lifting and yada, 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 stuff like that.
Lifting is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
girls
I think
can lift.
I think it's super interesting how, like, especially for women, that's just now kind of coming to popularity.
Oh, I know.
Especially in the sports field, where like guys have been doing 2-a-days for football literally for 50 years.
Seriously.
And then women, they don't, and they have. I'm pretty sure. Like, I used to do this as a presentation for like all the sports teams that I would go and like talk to.
I love that.
I'm pretty sure that specifically women's soccer has the highest incident of MCL, ACL tears in general. Could have changed, but I used to use that as kind of like my pitch for sports, like training and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still super weird to me. I just like had a school do like complete contract for a year last year, sign on with me for training women specifically. And those are generally like, it's funny that you say that that's the demo that you want to work with, because that's actually my demographic. Yeah.
Wait, I love that.
So we can partner on something probably.
Good.
Yeah. As long as Onward is in the mix too.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, what was that like kind of dealing with the ACL tears? I deal with so many kids that get injured and like have bad injuries. Him, for example, 2 torn labrums, one on each side, right?
11 months apart.
Shoulders.
Yeah. Yep. Another one who had like the Tommy John surgery for his elbow. I mean, I deal with so many kids because they're overworked and they have like, never have a break, no off season, stuff like that. What was that like for you? And I would like to hear it actually from a female's perspective too, dealing with injuries at a young age when like soccer is probably like your whole world at the time, right?
Yeah. It's probably not the answer you're expecting. I feel like back then I was pretty resilient, and I feel like kids in general are very adaptable. Like, they don't really, I'm sure some do, but at least me at the time being a teenager, I of course looked far ahead, but I wasn't dwelling. Like, of course it sucked and I was sad, like short term, long term, whatever. It would be frustrating, of course, but I was fairly patient, and it was kind of nice to have goals. And this is just kind of how my brain works. Like, I had goals for rehab, like, okay, like, let me get this much range of motion in my knee back. Okay, let me now hit this PR on the single leg deadlift. So I feel like having those shorter term goals really helped me to not dread like that this was going to be a 6 to 12 month process.
Nice.
So I think that really helped. I think another thing that was different for me than maybe other young athletes who could have had a more difficult time with it is that I knew I wasn't like going D1. I knew I was gonna I had good grades. I knew I was gonna go to a decent college anyway. So it's not like my whole future was relying on that. It was, I was competitive, of course, but it was a little more recreational than some other people. But I think it was definitely still mentally tough, and I would also say frustrating, because after the first one especially, I was doing all the prehab, the rehab, I was strengthening outside. I was probably working twice as hard, even though I wasn't as good. I was working twice as hard just to make sure that my body was functioning well and that I wasn't getting as much knee pain as like my other peers who weren't injured. And I feel like I did everything right, and I still tore that second one, and I think that kind of crushed me, but I also didn't know what else to do. So I just rehabbed and tried to get back for my high school season as fast as possible. And I was able to play the second half of my senior year high school season.
Okay.
But with a lot of knee pain, and it probably wasn't worth it to be. Looking back now, I should have just kind of called it quits.
Sure.
But I don't know. Whatever. I had nothing else to do.
So, like, for college, was the plan always just to do it for education? Like, sports were never in the mix?
I had always kind of thought about it in the background, but also my choices were I could have played at like maybe like a D3 school, like maybe, or I could have gone to like Madison or like Michigan State I'd applied to and somewhere like that.
Sure.
And I kind of knew that I wanted that big school experience more than I wanted to play soccer at a small school, especially after 2 ACL tears.
Yeah.
So I kind of had in the back of my head, like I knew that, like if I wanted to continue to play soccer, I could do intramurals or join the club team or something,
Right.
which I did do. I did do intramurals.
So you're like, I'm going to
at
focus
Madison.
on partying and education.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Madison, a big party school. That took me out a bit.
Humongous. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay, so then so you go to school, all that, cool. I think it's interesting that you took a gap year from that, from graduating from your 4-year to going into DPT stuff. Mm-hmm. Why did you choose to do that?
A few reasons. I felt like I really burned myself out in undergrad. Again, kind of knowing in the back of my head that I wanted to go to physical therapy school. I knew I had to maintain a certain GPA, certain grades. I had to keep up with some extracurriculars and everything like that. So I put a lot of pressure on myself to get really good grades. And Madison was really hard academically in the science department for me especially.
Mm-hmm.
And my first semester of college, I got a C in Chem 103, like the intro chemistry. And I was like, I'd never gotten a C before. And I know it doesn't seem like a big deal now, but at the time.
C's get degrees, dude.
I know. Well, C's don't get you into PT school. I was just like, oh my God. Like I was freaking out. And I just kind of gave myself a lot of anxiety around school. I put a lot of pressure on myself, like before exams. And I still had like a balance, but I was in the library a ton, just really, really studying. And looking back now, I probably didn't have to try that hard. But oh well, I did. And then I just was like, no way I can just go right into another 3 years of school. That was one. And then number two, my second semester of my junior year, I studied abroad
Nice.
in Australia, which was
Damn.
best time of my life. I know. It was so cool.
Down under.
Down under, mate. Yeah.
Did you fight a kangaroo?
What?
Did you fight a kangaroo?
Almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Honestly, you don't want to hear about it.
All right, well, shit.
It was rough for the kangaroo.
Really?
It was, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Don't underestimate me.
She might be small, but she got some big guns on her. Heck yeah, dude. So you were in Australia
Yes.
studying abroad?
Yeah, and just the timeline of studying for and taking the GRE and applying to schools, I would have had to do it like within a month after I had gotten back, and it just kind of was rushed and not feasible either. Like I didn't want to rush myself, and I just was like, let me just reset, make some money too for a year instead of going right into school and drowning in debt.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, a few different reasons, but I don't regret it. It was also COVID. I graduated
I was just gonna ask that because how old are you?
25.
20. Oh, you're young, dude. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, so you were in Australia for COVID, or that was?
No, thank God. No. That was
Yeah.
2019.
Oh.
And I know 2019.
You just missed it.
Seriously, because the year I know, I have some friends a year below me, and they someone I know who was studying abroad in Italy and had to come back after 3 weeks.
Ugh.
Yeah, which sucks.
Because Italy got it bad too, right? Didn't
They
get
got it
hit?
bad. Yeah,
I remember
they were
seeing that.
insanely locked down.
Yeah, I remember seeing those videos of them all singing from their apartments and shit in one of the big cities like Florence or something. Do you remember
didn't
that?
see that.
No, you didn't see it.
No.
Tristan, do you want to just reset that real quick? Okay. Okay, so then you come back from Australia. I think COVID, you told me, is when the TikTok thing started happening.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So.
So what happened?
2020.
Wait, first off, how many followers do you have on TikTok?
I have 220,000.
Bitch, let's go. You go, girl.
Little BG, follow.
Oh yeah, dude. That's cool. What is your TikTok like? What is your TikTok?
Yeah, it started out as healthy recipes.
Okay.
And that was kind of accidental, which we can get into that.
Yep.
And now it's healthy recipes, just kind of healthy advice as a coach, fitness wise, nutrition wise, habit wise. I'm big on habits.
Yep.
And then a little bit of fitness content, which I would love to put out some more fitness content.
Heck yeah.
But a lot of my followers seem to like the recipes a lot more. So I'm trying to kind of integrate that a little bit more.
Dude, recipes are so big, and they have been for a long. Do you know who Michael Corey is?
Michael Corey.
You heard of him?
I don't think so.
He's like an OG. I wouldn't expect you young people to know this, but he's like an OG YouTube guy.
Okay.
So like back, I don't know. There still is this kind of culture on YouTube, but fitness got like randomly really big like 10 years ago on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he was like one of the OG people, but his thing was recipes. So he would show you how to make like low calorie, high protein shit. And then he eventually, that's what you do?
Yeah, that's pretty much my jam.
You should look up his stuff because you can
Okay.
maybe like, steal some shit and put it your way. But anyway,
Yeah, definitely.
because I think that he recently like started doing TikToks for that too and going viral. But
Okay.
yeah, so that was his whole thing. And then he moved into like, he opened a gym and did like gym content, like lifestyle vlogs, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're not talking about Michael Corey. We're talking about you.
No, we can talk about Michael
So-
Corey.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just flip the script.
Michael, this is the Michael Corey podcast.
So Michael, so okay, how did TikTok happen for you?
Yeah. So I had already been posting recipes on Instagram for probably about a year. Like right when I got back from studying abroad, I started posting like some healthy recipes, and they were healthy, like not in the way you would think now. I used to be really restrictive.
Okay.
A whole nother thing. But I like went vegan, then I went pescatarian, then I was dairy free because I said my stomach like couldn't handle it. But
Oh, you had gut health problems?
yeah, it was kind of BS, to be honest.
It's always BS.
Fair. But
Most
90%
times.
of the time it is. And it's just an excuse to be restrictive and like try to lose weight. And like that was kind of my thing. And it was not healthy.
So
but-
can we go off on that for a second real quick?
Yeah.
I had
It's
a
like
friend.
big thing.
Yeah, huge. I had a friend who was like, oh, fuck. I don't know, because I'm probably going to clip this up. I have known people who are in the high ranks of like bodybuilding and stuff like that, right?
That sounds elite.
And everybody in that level of fitness or whatever ends up somehow having gut issues or hormonal issues when they like gain a bunch of weight. They have like gut health issues and thyroid issues and stuff like that. And I think that, to be honest with you, you're right. It is when you say you have gut health issues or whatever, I think a lot of times it is just people trying to make an excuse to be restrictive and to like, be anorexic basically.
Yeah.
The other side of that coin though is I think a lot of people use that type of stuff as excuses for them not being able to be disciplined enough either, in their own journey. So like, for example, a lot of people that I knew that like did bodybuilding for years and then randomly they gain a shitload of weight.
Yeah.
It's like, then they like, after a couple of years kind of come back to homeostasis and they look good, like, at least look good naked type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, did you have hormonal issues or was it just like you went off the fucking rails for a little
That's called
bit?
the rebound because you're eating 500 calories a day.
Right, and
Like-
you're not like tracking at all, like,
Yeah.
and it's fine. I don't care, but it's
yeah.
like I thought. I don't know if it's really a thing anymore because, to be honest, I don't pay attention to the bodybuilding world like at all anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they would use like my thyroid is fucked up as like an excuse for like gaining weight, and it's like, no, you're just not being honest. Like you just decided to eat a bunch of cake and cookies and stuff for like months.
Yeah.
And that's fine that you do
do
that.
you.
Yeah, exactly. But it gives like this really skewed view of like how the body actually works and how the systems work,
Yeah.
So I don't like that because I really, really, really do not like misinformation on the internet, especially when kids have access to it so early.
Yeah. And like the body isn't that fragile.
No.
Like not everyone has
Yeah.
hormonal problems. And don't get me wrong, like people do. And like I actually did have some adrenal issues and went to a naturopath and everything and had, but just took some supplements because again, it was a stress thing. Like and my cortisol was insanely high. Like I did get like that serum cortisol test and like that was, legit. But ultimately, I think those things can result from you being so restrictive. So it's like, oh, my thyroid's messed up, blah, 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 blah. My gut's messed up. It's like, well, your gut's messed up because you had tilapia and zucchini and rice solely and no type of variety. So your good gut bacteria that's supposed to digest that went away. So of course that when you ingest that, you're going to get a tummy ache. Like
right. And I don't even know if it's like saying that your gut is messed up as it is like your gut is adapted to what you've been doing to it.
100%. Your gut microbiome just lost that variety. Like variety in your food, colorful foods and choices is the best thing that you can do for your gut. Not cutting out dairy, not cutting out gluten. Like limit those things if you find that it causes issues, but that's not like cutting it out is not
always
solution.
The answer.
And I kind of found that out a little late in the game. And being in a calorie deficit forever, and you're not that your metabolism can break. I don't believe in that either. But there's a thing called metabolic adaptation, where if you eat kind of low for a while, your body will kind of get used to that number.
That's like a new set point.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of an issue for me, where it's like I can't lose weight and I'm in a calorie deficit. It must be hormonal. Like it wasn't hormonal. I just needed to eat in a maintenance for a little bit and like eat real foods, not PB2, peanut butter powder.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And like reset kind of.
So the point is your body is fucking resilient and it makes adaptations. You're likely not broken. You just have to reintroduce things in a little bit slower and like get back to it. There's always a solution to the problem. Like it just kills me, especially in the PT world. When but this is why actually, so I originally was going to do PT. We'll get back to the TikTok thing in a second.
Well,
I originally was going to do PT, and then I went to I'm much older than you guys, okay? I'm 5 years older than you guys.
So old.
I know. I went and shadowed at a clinic under a family friend, and I hated every second of it because there wasn't this new age thinking of actually strengthening patterns and stuff. It was mostly like, this is how you're supposed to move. There's no other way to move at the time.
Yeah.
And everything was like they just looked at the body as super, super broken. It wasn't resilient, that type of thing. And that's why I kind of left, because I was like, well, this is bullshit. And plus you're fat. So I don't even I don't want to listen to you. And I don't want to listen to any of the people that are telling you guys what to do either. That's why I like the model of Onward so much too, by the way. But, all right. So you fell into it accidentally, the recipes.
Yeah. So
what got you interested in posting recipes in the first place?
Honestly,
the healthy, not healthy ones.
It became from me being self-conscious on my personal account. I had a personal Instagram account, and I was posting some recipes and food on my stories, and I felt like I was doing it almost daily, and I was like this, and I would have some people be like, oh my gosh, what's the recipe, this is so good, because I would just post a photo of it, and I would tell these girls or guys what what it is. And then I thought to myself, I was like, okay, this is kind of annoying. I'm posting this every day. I don't want to annoy my followers or my friends who don't care about food, and I'll just make a separate account for it. So I just made a separate account just to post some recipes, and then that kind of gained a little bit of traction. I gained 1,000 followers on there in a year or something like that. And again, it was genuinely just fun. I wasn't trying to coach or do anything. That was fun. And then with the TikTok thing, so COVID was obviously 2020, but I had, it was my senior year, and I decided to go on spring break. Don't judge me. It was right before shit hit the fan, and it was debatable whether COVID was a hoax or not, actually debatable. You couldn't test yourself. Masks were not mandated. 6 feet wasn't a thing. You didn't know, you lost your sense of taste and smell.
Sure, yeah.
So, I was like, I'm going to Miami. That's just what's happening.
By the way, I still to this day do not give a fuck about COVID. So you can say whatever you want. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm just being clear. So whatever you say, I'm not offended.
I feel like I care, of course. And especially when it was my thing was I don't care about it for myself. I don't care if I get sick. I just don't want to make anyone who's compromised get sick.
Well, you wouldn't step out if you had the flu, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's whatever.
Yeah, like, like I was cautious. Like, if I felt sick, I wasn't going to say fuck it and like go to my
Grandma and
sick
kiss her.
grandma's house. Yeah.
You shouldn't kiss your grandma anyway.
What?
You shouldn't kiss your grandma anyway. Not on the lips, right?
Not on the lips,
Yeah.
but like kind
Like
of
on the
close.
cheek,
Like,
yeah.
the Italians. Mwah,
Yeah.
mwah.
Oh, you're Italian?
Yeah, I'm half Italian.
Never mind. You can kiss your grandma if you want.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
My Nona. Love her. And my Nono. Love him too.
So you go to spring break. Do you catch COVID?
Yeah, spring break. So while we were there, like, it was like fine the first few days, and I was like, it's fine, da 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 da, we're partying, whatever. Go to the beach, like one of the days where it's like kind of getting like legit, and I was like, wait, this is actually legit. They shut down the beach because I was like, damn, like they shut down the beach, they shut down the restaurants, like, and we were kind of freaking out that, oh my gosh, like, are they gonna like shut down flying? So we thought we were gonna be stuck there, and they didn't. Long story short, on the way back, I guess when I got back to my apartment in Madison, it was me and my 2 roommates / best friends who I went with.
Sweet.
And when we got back, my roommate Julia was like, guys, I can't taste my coffee. I can't smell my coffee. And we didn't know. I was like, okay. Like,
So what?
Yeah, it was like weird. And then, we started testing her, and, she dipped a noodle in Hennessy and ate it and didn't flinch. Don't ask.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
Wait, why do you have Hennessy in the house?
I don't know.
That's disgusting.
I don't know.
Yuck. Oh, you know those guys?
It was a vibe at the time.
Hennessy? Dude, the people who drink Hennessy are fucking lying, dude.
What do you mean lying? Lying about what?
About liking it. You like Hennessy?
Sometimes.
Hell.
I'm not going to lie, I haven't drank
How many
it in
pairs of
years.
Jordans do you have?
0.
Okay. Fuck that. You haven't drank what?
I haven't drank Hennessy probably since then, to be honest.
Since
I don't
COVID.
know.
All right.
Yeah. It's been like
Dipping a noodle in Hennessy. That's different.
just to test
Yeah.
her taste.
No, that makes sense. If I ever got COVID again, I would probably do exactly that.
Yeah. And then you never know,
Yeah.
Had to,
But
that's
no,
the
to be
standard.
fair though, a lot of people were like taking shots of shit, to like see
Yeah.
if they could taste it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like my big thing is I don't like spicy, like a lot of spice. So then a couple days later, after we thought like Julia was bullshitting or being dramatic, I put sriracha on a carrot and felt nothing. Not that sriracha is insanely spicy. I know that.
Yeah.
But, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is messed up. I tried to go for a run. Like, we were quarantining in the house because it was quarantine time. We were following that. But you could go outside. So I tried to go for a run outside, and I'm like fairly fit. And
Yeah.
I was gasping for air after 2 minutes. And it
Wow.
took me like an hour
To
to
recover?
like get it felt like my lungs were on fire. Like I had just done a workout for like an hour, like a cardio workout for an hour. Anyways,
Yeah.
long story short, I felt better after like 2 days. So we were just kind of like messing around the house. I was cooking, and I was making this chia seed pudding recipe. And I was like, I was hating on TikTok. I didn't want to download it. Then my roommate was like, just download it. It's, I was bored. It was in quarantine. So
Yep.
I downloaded it. Then I was like, I'll record this chia seed pudding recipe. I'm bored. I post
Yeah.
recipes anyways. I post it, and then I didn't even look at TikTok. And the next morning, I see it had like 1 million views. And I was like, oh.
Wait, this is your first recipe that you post on TikTok?
Yeah.
It got 1 million views?
Yeah, which like pretty much like doesn't happen nowadays.
Yeah.
But the only people who are on TikTok were like the girls shaking their asses and dancing, like Charlie, Addison Rae, you know the gals, right?
I know the names, but I have no idea.
Yeah, he knows the gals. Yeah, he knows.
Tristan for sure.
They're doing like the
Take that fucking smirk off your face. Fucking
They're making the little
pervy
TikTok
perv.
dances.
I never really watched them besides Addison Rae.
Okay. Oh yeah. She's a cutie. She's a hottie with a body.
Okay.
I respect it. I respect the hustle, but that couldn't be me personally.
Yeah.
So I posted that, and then my one roommate was like, "Dude, you should roll with this.
Hey,
Like,
Google.
you should run with this."
Stop the music. Yuck. Okay. You should run with this.
And she's like, "You should run with this," and I was like, "I should run with this." So then I started posting, and since that one got a lot of views, I posted a couple more that did really well, and I gained like 50,000 followers in like a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Holy
was.
crap.
And again, at the time, no one was posting recipes fitness. It wasn't oversaturated like it is now. So I was kind of like breaking into it. There weren't a lot of recipe people or anything like that. It was all the dancers, the lip syncers, the young kids.
Okay.
Younger than me, even.
I don't know anything about the conception or the inception of TikTok or any of that. So
Yeah.
it was mostly people doing dances and
Yeah, like little dances, like lip syncing, like thirst traps. Basically, it was
Okay.
all thirst traps, pretty
Got it.
much. And it wasn't educational at all. And then that's why I feel like I grew so quickly. But then once it started getting saturated, it took like a longer time to like continue to grow.
Yeah.
And views weren't like a million every post anymore.
Sure.
But that's kind of how that started.
So what are your views like now on TikTok?
Like views, like
Are they
how?
like good, like high, like what's like the average like view count that you get?
It really varies. Like I have a series right now called like Hidden Protein. You like
Okay.
like not just chicken and rice, like adding cottage cheese to a pasta sauce, like hiding
Wow.
your protein, stuff
Sure.
like that.
Oh, that's
and
clever.
I know, check it
Wow.
out, Hidden
Yeah.
Protein. But yeah, that series does really well. I've gotten like, a few videos have gotten like 1 to 3 million views. Others, I don't know, 300K, But then, then I have like other videos that like aren't that style that will get like 5K. Like it really
Yeah.
just depends.
I feel like that's still good though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty, it's
Yeah.
like it's fine. Like there's people who are better and there's people who are worse.
Sure.
I try not to get hung up on the views just because when I was really hung up on the views, I would post stuff that I thought people would want and like all the trending stuff, and I just didn't like what I was posting and it wasn't doing well anyway. So when I just kind of try to be creative and like post whatever I want, if it hits, great. If it doesn't, that's fine.
So do you post anything that's trending?
Yeah, like I'll use
Yeah.
like a trending sound or something, or like have you seen the girl dinners? Girl dinner. Have you seen
No.
the girl dinners?
No, I'm not gonna.
He's not even paying attention. I'm just kidding. Girl dinner was like, I don't know if it's even worth explaining. It's like girls eat like random shit for dinner. Like it'll be like popcorn, sour straws,
Oh,
and like
okay.
a
I get
hard-boiled
that.
egg.
Yeah.
So like there was this one filter that like gave you a girl dinner of like 3 items, and
Got
I would
it.
like take the 3 items and I would try to make a high protein meal out of it.
Oh,
So,
that's
like
cool.
that's something that like did well. So that's like a trend, but I like to twist it to like fit my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So like sometimes, but sometimes not.
Do you get paid from TikTok views the same way that you would YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not nearly as profitable as YouTube. The main
Yeah.
thing is like brand deals and branded posts and stuff.
So how do you go about doing the whole okay, let's say you get done with PT school
Mm-hmm.
and all that. Is TikTok and a social media career something that you would like to like pursue further, or is it like you're going to try to intertwine the two, do both at the same time?
I definitely want to do both. I want to
Okay.
continue PT. I mean, unless I insanely blew up and it was like absolutely for sure that I could make a lot of money for like a long time on it. But you never know. Like TikTok could be banned. Who knows?
Yeah. For sure.
So I don't want to put like all my eggs in one basket.
Yeah. Probably not smart to ever do that anyway.
Yeah, so I would love to be able to do both, and even if I did like part-time PT, part-time coaching, part-time influencing, like
Yeah.
that would be great. Or I could still do full-time PT. Like I've been full-time a full-time PT student and coaching and doing my influencer stuff, and it's been working out.
Yeah. So how do you go about the whole brand thing, working with brands? Do they come to you? Do
Yeah.
you go to them?
So you can. I could be better about this. I guess I have the time. I don't make the time.
Yeah.
You could reach out
I
to
like
them.
that. Pay attention, motherfuckers. Did you hear that? I like that. Good.
I'll repeat it. I have time. I don't make the time.
Love it.
I
Love
think
it.
you always have time. That's why I hate the excuse like I don't have time to work out. Like when I was in classes for school, like I was waking up at 4:30 in the morning to go to the gym. Like
Yep.
because I had to study in the evening. Like
Yeah.
what do you mean you don't have time?
Right.
Like you have time.
The
I
time
get being a
excuse
bit.
does not
I don't
exist.
have kids, so that's a whole nother ball game.
Yep.
I get not having time if you have kids.
I have kids. I have time for anything that I want.
There we go.
It's
then.
about making priorities, right? So like some things just take a back seat in certain seasons of life, right?
Yeah.
Like last season, my focus was trying to become like a professional CrossFitter, or at least like compete at a high level. I got injured. It made me change my perspective on what was important. Now that takes a little bit of a back seat. I don't spend as much time in the gym anymore. You always have time. An example that I gave to a client yesterday was like, you're just trying to figure out how to work out, eat right, do your PT stuff, right? Those are the three main things that you're trying to do after work. Now check this out. Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, who run billion-dollar corporations, have enough time to even think about maybe fighting each other. You know, like you're okay.
True.
You got the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, exactly. So where was I?
Anyways.
Oh, brand deals.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could reach out, and I know a lot of people who do, to try to get brand deals. And I've done that like once or twice before, but typically they'll email me, and they'll have like this proposal, and I'll ask them like what their budget is, and then they'll ask me for my rate, which is always kind of difficult to come to.
Yeah.
And then we'll come to an agreement. I'll sign a contract. I'll create the video. I'll send it to them as a draft and see if they like it and approve it. And then I post it, and then they pay me.
Is it based around recipes normally?
It depends. It's kind of all over the board. I don't like to do like way out of the box things that have nothing to do with my account. Like, which, I've gotten like inquiries about like shampoo and like hair brushes, and I'm like, I could try that, and then like it just seems a little forced.
Yeah.
So I try not to do that.
Because that's like not your thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it just seems pretty transparent that it's like, this is an ad, she's doing this for money, which like I'm a student. Like, hello, obviously
Yeah.
I'm going to do ads.
Right.
But, most of them, like I think I've told you this before, like I've done like Instacart, Kodiak cakes, like, and like brands that I actually enjoy and use.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it's
Cool.
generally around recipes. Sometimes it's around fitness too.
Sweet.
Just depends.
How do you come up with like your rate that you're going to charge somebody? I want to put people on game with this because this is something that I've like really been exploring lately as I work with more brands. I don't work with brands through social media. I actually like get out in the field and do stuff with them.
Yeah.
But something that I've had to learn recently is how to come up with a rate. How do you make like how do you sell yourself basically, right?
Yeah. So it's hard to figure out what your rate is because the industry is really hush hush about it and like what they charge. And I feel like I had to do like a lot of research to try to like figure out what mine should be at. Cause in the beginning I had no clue, and I was literally doing product exchange for a video. Like I'd have 100, like no, and this was when I had like 50,000 followers.
Sure.
And like people would be like, I have this, stackable cup, like will you post if we send it to you for free? And I thought it was so cool because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing a brand deal, and it's like they're paying me dick, excuse me, but like literally nothing.
Yeah.
So, and I'll be transparent about it. Like it really depends. Like sometimes I'll do a video for like one video will be $3,000 with like a big brand. Yeah.
For like a 10-second video?
No, like
30
30 seconds to a minute.
Oh,
and
my
but
bad.
the
My
biggest
bad.
thing, no, this is duh. Now do you get it? No. And I didn't come to this initially, but the big thing is you have to think about it as like an ad for them. Like one of my previous friends used to work at Target, and she told me that L'Oreal, I think it was, or one of those big companies took out a like tiny quarter of a page ad in a magazine for $200,000 to $500,000. I don't remember the exact number, but for a freaking magazine, who reads magazines anymore?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not just like, it takes me maybe a couple hours to like edit or to film and edit this video and whatever and post it on my account. And I try not to think about it anymore as like, oh, it's like the time that I'm spending doing this, because that's not it. It's about, I've built up this following over literal years now, and people will kind of like they'll, I don't want to say do what I say, but like if I'm suggesting something, like they know it's legit. And also the big thing is like whitelisting, or they get usage rights of the content, which is like the big thing that like that brand did a $200,000 to $500,000 ad, and obviously that wasn't free. So why would I just give you the content that I created? You can clip it however you want. You can use it forever for free. Like that's,
Makes no sense,
that's the thing is the usage rights is what kind of adds up. If they want full usage rights, that's what kind of cranks up the price.
100%. Yeah. And I don't think that people like really understand how much that like, so like before magazines, like they're still spending money on magazines and like commercials and stuff like that, but people don't really consume content like that. This like I've learned so much even just this past weekend, but where they'll spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars to do shit like that. It like not just like for it to be on TV or whatever, but the actual production of the commercial and stuff like that. And you as an influencer, me as the person who like helps with the content or whatever, we cut their costs significantly and they get better results now because everybody's on their phones.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So like what I think is like nuts is that aside from the influencer marketing, there's a whole like, and I didn't know that this was a thing either. I didn't know that like brand ambassadorship was a thing where, so for example, I don't do much of this anymore, but like Tristan will get hired on now as a 1099 for different events to like represent a company and to like hand out product or whatever.
Right.
And they pay really, really well. Like if you're good. But then the other side of it is too, like I do things like where like I'm in the content that they're like shooting or whatever, right? And so like I'll be transparent about that too. I charge anywhere between like $400 to $800 a day, depending on what has to go on, you know? And the cool thing about that is, again, companies see the value in that because they know it's going to drive sales and shit. So they just like, they're willing to spend the money. So anybody who's thinking about getting into that stuff, it's actually pretty simple. You just got to figure out what companies you can work with and what their budget is, like you were saying.
Yeah, and I think the budget is a big thing. Like again, those bigger brands, like I'm really comfortable saying that my rate is $3,000 to $4,000 per video, whatever, and then I'm fine negotiating down to like $2,000 or something like that. Obviously, fine. But then there's other brands that are smaller that I know won't really have the budget, where maybe I'll like say my rate starts at $1,000 and then see what they say and see if they're like, honestly, like the most we can do is like 600, and then I say, okay, like can you maybe meet me in the middle at 800, or can we change the deliverables a little bit? And then usually like they'll say yes. So especially if it's a company that like I want to work with, I understand that they're not gonna have that budget. But like if these bigger brands like want to work with me, of course I'm gonna see my rate is higher.
Hell yeah.
Like,
you always start high
literally,
and
why
you go
not?
low.
Yeah. And it took me a while to kind of get comfortable doing this. I'm like, I feel bad. That's so much money. But I'm like, dude, that's pennies to them. And it like makes a huge difference to me.
And to be honest with you, they don't give a fuck about you. Like not even trying to be mean. They just, like,
it's
they don't
so
care.
true. Yeah. And they're like, our budget is this. I'm like, yeah, okay, our budget. Like I've had like, I don't know if I want to call them out or not.
Let's not.
No.
Give the initials maybe.
Yeah. No, it'll be too obvious. There's a supplement company, like protein powder, pre-workout, that wanted to work with me, and I was pretty excited for it. This was before I had I have like a longer term like Legion sponsorship, so it's not them, it was someone else. And I was like, they're pretty popular, and I was like, oh my gosh, like would be so cool. I was like, yeah, sure. Like, what's your budget? And they're like, actually, like we would just like send you a pre-workout for you to post this video.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. I was like, I don't do like a barter agreement or product exchange. Like I
need
only
money,
do.
bitch.
You seriously? I'm like, really? You think I'm gonna do this for clout? No.
Right. Yeah, no.
And it was just like, this is like one of the biggest brands right now. And I was like, the audacity. And they're like, oh, we only like pay people who have over 1 million followers. I'm like, you shouldn't have told me that, because now I feel like shit about myself. But
that's also gotta be. That also has to be bullshit. Like there's no way.
It's just. Yeah, I'm sure, and that's another thing is like these big companies will really try to get away with like sucking like as much out of you while paying you as little as possible. That's why I actually read your contracts. Even if you agree to something, like I've had something in my contract that said like you have to reshoot up to 7 times, and I'm like, no, that's so much time. I'm not reshooting 7 times.
Yeah.
Like I'll reshoot like twice, and you can edit it like up to 5 times or something like that. But it just gets like, I don't know, just insane. Or I've caught something in a contract that said like we like have 6 months basically to like pay you, and I was like,
No.
30 days or 60 days at the most.
Yeah.
And then like you can, because I've had issues with that too,
Yep.
where I haven't gotten paid for like a while with like
Same.
reputable companies. So
Yep.
it's
Same.
like a big thing.
Some of the big companies are the fucking worst to get paid by. Like the
Yeah.
worst. I have worked with a couple of brands where I'm like, dude, it's been 2.5 months. Where's my fucking check?
Seriously,
Like,
it's
do you-
because they send to the finance department and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But it's like they're not on their shit.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
Are there like companies, like smaller ones that you would be, or that you are? What time do you got to go, by the way?
Whatever. Not whatever, but what time is it?
It's 11:39.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
You okay? Okay.
Yeah, I can leave here at like 1.
Okay, cool. Are there like smaller companies that you have done this with in the past, or are willing to just cultivate a relationship, maybe take a stake in or something and become a regular content creator for them, or that you're willing to just like kind of like give them a lower rate and then grow as time goes on, write contracts like that?
Yeah. And I've done that before where I've done some longer term partnerships, or if they want to keep me on for like I've done things before, a few companies where they're like, we want you for like 3 months and post like 1 video per month at a rate of like $500 per video. And,
Yeah.
you know, just because I have that solid, like I'll be getting this every month for 3 months, like I'll do that at like
Yeah.
that lower rate. Or especially, like I said, if like I really like this brand, or if I'm also gonna maybe get commission from it, which I don't really do commission deals.
Seems
'cause
sketch.
Number one, I don't trust them. Number two, it really doesn't pay. Like people are like, oh, like, you know, you get 10% of every sale. And I'm like, okay, $2. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to post all the time to get $20 a month.
Right.
Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It's too much time for like not enough. Like, it's just not worth it to me
Yeah.
right now. You know, if I was doing full-time influencer, maybe I would do more of that.
Sure.
But I don't make time for that right now.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. Do you have future plans for your influencing?
I mean, there's like plans, there's like desires. It really depends on like how I grow.
Do you have a content schedule?
No.
No?
I should, but I don't. I have like an idea. Like for Instagram, I try to post like a fitness post, a lifestyle post, a recipe post, like all within like a week, and then try
Yep.
to keep up with my stories. With TikTok, it's really all over the board. I think trends are changing so fast, and how it also depends on how like my series are going, and you know, like the hidden
Yeah.
protein. Like I've tried doing a schedule before, and it always just gets messed up.
Okay.
Basically for me, but I know a lot of people who do, and it works out really well for them. But
Yep.
if something's hot right now, I need to make it and post it, and my schedule will just get messed up. So I personally don't.
Have you done the NPC trend? That's the only one that I like have been turned on to.
No, what's that?
Or not turned on to, but like NPC trend. Like I just randomly saw it on like so I like to say that I don't like TikTok, but like I'll consume Instagram Reels like all day.
Right, which
is
I hate
the same
Instagram
thing.
Reels. I think it's watered down TikTok.
I guess I wouldn't
Personally.
know, but I trust you. 'cause
It's always
you're-
late to the game. It's the same sounds.
Okay.
I don't know.
Got it.
Anyways, sorry.
The NPC trend is like literally just like a girl. I don't know. I only saw chicks doing it from the video or whatever, but they would just sit there and act like an NPC from a video game.
Oh,
It's
no, like
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Beefcake Brina. Do you follow her?
No, who's that?
She does one. I like her a lot. We're connected on TikTok.
Okay.
She posts like no BS fitness content,
Cool.
and she's an online coach, and she just like calls out shitty coaches. She has a Kines degree, and she is like very research based and like talks about research. Like, have you heard of like syncing your workouts with your cycle for females with your menstrual cycle? Cycle syncing.
No, it seems
Total
like bullshit.
It's bullshit, and I think it just makes it's an excuse for women to be weaker.
What's the rationale there?
That your hormones during like, because there's like your luteal phase, your follicular phase, like there's different phases throughout like the whole month.
Yeah.
Where your hormones like estrogen, progesterone are at different levels, and they're like basically saying like your energy and your strength are like the best during your, I don't remember which phase exactly because it's bullshit, but like say it's like you should be basically be lifting really heavy during your luteal phase, and then during your follicular phase you should be doing low intensity Pilates. And I'm like, so you lift heavy twice out of the month, and then you go on a walk for 2 weeks, and then you restart?
Right.
It's
So
bullshit.
like over planned deload for like really long, and you can't make any progressions. Ever.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds
It's
very stupid.
It's such shit. How about just listen to your body, and if you're exhausted, you work off of RPE.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
That's
not. I felt the strongest before I've hit PRs on my period. Like,
dude,
it just depends.
a period, a girl on her period.
PPR. Period PR.
There we go. Yeah. Dude, that's like, I mean, a lot of girls are just like really aggressive on their periods. So like, I don't know. I would think that maybe you should lift heavier on your period.
Yeah, like you're angry, you're crabby, you're mad at your boyfriend.
And then you
like,
can cry after if you have to. Yeah, exactly.
You know, like the only thing I'll avoid is like, and not always, but like hip thrusting just because it hurts. Like my uterus feels like it's exploding. But
just out of nowhere is blood.
You know the feeling.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
It's a messy cleanup.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what she posts, like no BS. So she'll like call out people, like everyone who's like full of shit blocks her. Like, I don't know.
Is she from the area?
No, she lives in Texas. But
Where
she has
at?
like 5. Where's Alpha Land?
That's in Sugar Land, Houston.
I think she's in that area because she says, I know she's said that she has a membership there.
Are you friends with her?
On TikTok, yeah.
Can you connect me?
Maybe. I could.
I'm going to
tag
Alpha
you
Land.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going. When am I going? Halloween weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure you can message her.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, she's like a bodybuilder, but not like an annoying one. You know what I mean?
Fucking
sorry.
God, dude. No.
Sorry. No, but she, just really strong and just really good content. You can just tell she's a good online coach. Like focuses on habits and not just chucking macros and shit at you. And
good. You'll have to show me. I think that's you'll have to just show me her profile. But I think that's super important too. And not that this is a fitness forward. It seems like it's actually a fitness forward podcast because everybody that I have talked to is in the fitness space. But
there we go.
I think that in life in general, everything should be predicated off your habits, not the way that you feel, not some weird bullshit that some fucking, what are they called? Guru is telling you or whatever. It's all habits. Like, just whatever. We can go off on that.
No, keep going. I like that.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I feel like so many people kind of let the fact that they're tired be the reason that they can't do things or like the time thing, like you said. But it's like, if you get in the habit of like time blocking and like figuring out like from 8 to 9, this is where I'm going to do this work. That's like, you get it done from 12 to 1. That's when I eat. And it seems robotic. It seems really stupid, but it's a much better way to live your life, in my opinion, because there's never the anxiety of I'm not going to get this done. I'm not going to do this. This won't happen for me or whatever. And at the end of the day, if you're habit based, you will know for certain that you did everything that you could in your control to make something happen.
Yes. Yeah. I love that you said that because I feel like a lot of coaches especially don't really tap into habits. And I think it's huge.
Yep.
Like instead of, again, shitty coach versus good coach, in my opinion, you see that one of your clients only hit 2 out of their 4 workouts for the week and didn't do any of their assigned cardio or something. Instead of being like, hey, you got to do that. You got to prioritize your workouts. You're not going to see any progress doing that. Personally for me, what I'll do is like, hey, like I noticed that, we're like at 50% adherence to your workouts.
Yep.
Like what can we do to make time in your schedule? Like, do you put and leave an hour to an hour and a half in your schedule? Literally put a time block, like you said, on your Google Calendar so that I call it like non-negotiables. I didn't make up that word, but I'm like, these are your non-negotiables. So like you can't schedule anything during that time. It's blocked off on Sunday. Like figure it out. And of course life happens and things will come up and there will be times where you can't get it in or something. But for the most part, if you don't put it in your calendar or your planner or whatever, like you can be like, okay, like I could either work out at this time or I could eat or I could do this and then you end up sitting on the couch. Or
it's
just
like
digging
paralysis
around.
by analysis, right?
Yeah,
I do the same thing with my clients too, actually. And I like to start slow too. I think where a lot of people get stuck in life and especially working out is they try to do too much too soon.
Yes, I do that too. Kind of like ramp it up.
Over time. It's the same thing as like in an actual fitness program, right? Like you start low volume or whatever it is, low intensity, and you ramp your way up until you have a point where you can maintain the volume and intensity, and then you take on more as you can, that type of thing. And so like when I'm starting a program with people, it's always like, okay, we'll start at like, if they're brand fucking new, I'm like, we're going to do 2 days of fitness a week. That's it. And the other thing that I want you to do is try to focus on walking. And I'll start at like 2,000 steps.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and for most people, 2,000 steps is a lot of steps actually, because they're sitting down all day, you know,
Yeah.
at work, whatever. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. Habit-based is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally get that. And even with nutrition too, again, not just chucking out macros or calories or
Yeah.
whatever. Like a lot of people don't know how to eat high protein. And even though I think a lot of coaches and people in the fitness industry, it seems second nature and it just seems very innate. Like, oh, it's so easy for me to hit 120 grams of protein.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm 115 pounds. So
Right.
like, I know 120 is probably not a lot to
Yeah.
more people, but I'm
Right.
smaller and whatever. Like that's my number.
Yeah.
But you know, I'll start a lot of people. I'll be like, let's try to hit 80 grams of protein a day. And what we can do is try to hit like, kind of like per meal.
Like
so
3
let's-
boluses a day.
yeah. So it's like, okay, let's make sure that we're doing 20 grams of protein for breakfast, 20 for lunch, 20 for dinner, and then you can do like 20 for a snack. Like
Yeah.
that's just, you know, like keep markers, calorie-wise, protein-wise, whatever, throughout the day. So you're not at the end of the day being like, shit, I have 70 grams of protein left, or damn it, I only have 10 calories left for dinner, you know?
Yeah.
Keep markers throughout the day. Set a reminder for
100%.
yourself if you need to. Again, I'm a psycho. I plan out everything, but
Everything,
it works.
yeah.
Like, and then eventually it'll become second nature where you don't need to put it in your Google Calendar. It'll become your non-negotiable.
And yeah, also, I feel like we have to hit on this just because we're talking about this stuff a lot. I don't think that macro counting and calorie counting is the way for most people too.
Yeah, it doesn't
If you're a
always
general
need to be.
population type of person who's not like, you just want to look good naked, like you for sure do not have to count your macros. You do not have to count your calories. Now, if you like are serious about like your gen pop, but I want to be like, I want to take my getting muscular seriously and being lean and stuff, that's where you can kind of visit the protein and the like macro stuff. But like, if you're just gen pop, you're a soccer mom that wants to go to Orange Theory and shit, like
Yeah.
just have good habits. You already
Yeah.
know what the
Eat
habits
balanced
are.
meals.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
it. Try to get a couple servings of protein a day and you're good.
Yeah,
Gravy.
exactly. Yeah.
I like that, dude.
100%.
We see eye to eye on some stuff. That's cool.
Cheers.
Now, what don't we see eye to eye on?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
What's controversial?
I'm a very, very, very right wing white supremacist.
I love that.
Yeah.
Completely kidding.
I got to
completely
clip that.
kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm half Mexican. I couldn't be a white supremacist.
Yeah, no, you're invincible. You can do anything
Yeah,
you want.
yeah. Hey, but Liv, thanks so much for being on the pod.
Yeah. it's been
We're
fun.
at,
Thanks for
like-
having me.
We're at like almost an hour and a half.
Oh my gosh.
So that was real easy. That was real nice. You were a great guest. A lot of insight.
Thank you. Great host.
Thank you. I have 3 questions that I ask people at the end.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah. They're not like super big questions, but
Yeah.
the first one is what is your biggest goal for the rest of this year? Like, what do you want to achieve
For this year?
by the end of the year? Yeah.
It's a good question. I think I want to take a risk and take a chance on myself and continue to take a leap in my business, coaching and influencing, instead of just getting into like full-blown PT and letting that dwindle. I'm kind of afraid
Okay.
that like my part-time, my own stuff will fizzle if I fully immerse myself in like a full-time PT, but I know I can do both.
Yeah.
Or even go part-time PT and continue to grow my stuff.
So what does that look like? What do you mean?
So
Taking a chance on yourself.
yeah, I would say, again, just like choosing to not do the safe bet of going like full-time, full-blown physical therapist and not having any time to do my own stuff. So that could be, I think like at a clinic like Onward, I could do full-time and still have time to like grow my business and stuff.
Oh, 100%.
But, you know, somewhere else, let's say, like going part-time, which, you know, you don't get the insurance benefits, and that can be a little scary to some people, and like really focusing on growing my clientele, making systems, maybe hiring on an employee or something like
Yeah.
that. So I know that can be scary and like taking risks, but I graduate in November, so I kind of want to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. November?
Yeah.
Sweet, dude. By the way, all that extra stuff of like insurance and finding that stuff out. I mean, dude, it's so easy and it's not that scary. And you're a healthy person, so you don't even need health insurance.
Yeah, no. I just won't get any at all.
Yeah, no. I actually don't have health insurance.
You
right
don't?
Now. No, it ran out, and I just didn't do it.
What if you get in a car accident? That's my thing. Like if you get in a car crash, that's like not your fault. You know what I mean?
It won't happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm big on like God has protected me in the universe. I'm one of the favorites, you know?
That's good. That's good.
So anyway.
What's it like?
But
What's it like?
Oh, it's magnificent.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. With that comes a lot of trials and tribulations, but that's all part of the journey, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you willing to sacrifice for that goal?
That's tough. Probably some stuff in my personal life, which I feel like I already kind of have.
Okay.
I feel like I'm a little bit, and this isn't a badge of honor, but I'm a little bit busier than other students just because I have some other stuff going on. And,
Sure.
you know, I'm running a little business and
Yeah.
whatever. So I feel like I've kind of already sacrificed, you know, just like growing more friendships. Like I'm not insanely close with a large group of people from my cohort. You know, I don't really go out drinking like that much anymore. So I've kind of lost some friends that way. So probably just, you know, sacrificing that. Yeah.
Okay.
I would
cool.
say kind of continuing. I don't
Yeah.
know if I would have to do anything extra, but I'd like for that to switch eventually, like to grow relationships and stuff. But I know that I don't think that it's just like a time that I can really focus on that right now. And like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. I have friends, I swear.
Well,
Please.
please be
Like
my
me
friend.
and Justin. Justin's my number one friend now.
Well, after knowing that you don't have any other friends, I don't know.
I'm begging you.
What are you not willing to sacrifice for that goal?
I guess like it's kind of deep. I feel like my moral compass. Like I feel like I could easily make more money if I'm like posting my ass online or like whatever, or like, you know, posting my body and thirst traps and whatever 24/7. But I've gotten so much education where I really want to be known. Not that I have the best body ever, I'm saying, but like I've gotten so much education that I really want to be like known and respected for that. And I think your body is your business card in the fitness industry. So I think, you know, I'm going to make it obvious that I take care of myself, but I don't think I'll sacrifice.
You don't have to put your butthole online.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Just
Dude,
feet
I love
finder.
that. Just be fine. But hey, they don't even have to see your face for that,
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like
that's-
I would debate it.
$20 is $20, dude.
100%.
I love that because I feel like in the world that we live in right now, so many people just like do drop their morals in order to make a quick buck. Mm-hmm. And it's like long term, like how is that actually going to affect you? I don't think that.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sound any certain way, but women specifically, right? Like, how is that going to affect your long-term life, right? The fact that you're posting like thong pictures or lingerie and stuff like that, like, and it seems wrong, but it's just how the world is, right?
No,
it seems wrong.
is.
Like you're like a husband's going to be hard to come by if he knows like you had an OnlyFans or like that you're like posting lingerie all over the internet. Like that's going to be hard to come by. And I know a lot of people say that they don't want that right now, but you never know about the future, you know? Same thing for dudes though, right? Like if you're posting stuff about you doing like fucking drugs, or maybe even there is a girl that like doesn't want you in a Speedo or some shit online, you know? Like you got to think about that stuff long term, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Right?
no, 100. And I'm not judging anyone who does that. Of course, do your thing, get your coin.
Mm-hmm.
I respect you, or I respect it. Just personally for myself, especially, you know, being a future healthcare provider. Like even when I reached out to Drew and Kelly at Onward and asked them, like, do you guys take on students for their rotations? I took a quick like sweep of my social media because I'm like, am I embarrassing? Like, would they even want to take me on? Because I was messaging through Instagram, you know? So it's just like something that I think about, because if I owned a clinic and then someone messaged me and I saw that they were like shaking their ass, like, which is fine. But if I were a patient or a business owner who had patients and they, you know, everyone looks people up. Yeah. So if they looked me up or an employee up and they see that and lose respect or like whatever, like you can't control how other people will react. So I just like to kind of keep everything neutral.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah.
Sweet, dude. Well, hey, I appreciate you again for being on the pod. I think it was really good.
Yeah.
And that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and we'll talk to y'all on the next one. Peace out. Bye. Cheers.
Thank you.
Dude, you were really good.
Thanks. You were good.
Thank you.
That was nice, fluid combo. I only forgot what you asked me once.